Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Thinkpui Podcast. In case you haven't listened to our previous episodes, you can check out our YouTube channel and Spotify, Thinkpui Studios. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new updates. And also be sure to follow our Instagram for any updates. And also, we just recently launched our blog, www.thinkpuistudios.com, where we post a lot of different written content. Be sure to check it out. For our special episode today, we have the team at Gotsy. I think they can all introduce themselves. And can you tell us a little bit more about Gotsy as well?
Hi, so I can start with the introduction a little bit here. So we're a bunch of really like enthusiastic individuals who gathered together to introduce bubble tea in India. Our aim is to introduce bubble tea to every corner of India and provide authentic bubble tea here. We actually started this because Arman at one point raised, when I visited India, he just raised a point that there is no good bubble tea place here and he misses it a lot. And that's actually the time when this idea came up. And we took a while actually to kind of start it, but we came this far. Even, we had some difficult times as well because of the lockdown and, the COVID seasons. But three of us are hanging in here, just trying to cater as many people as possible and spread the culture here, create a bubble tea culture here.
Yes, so I think Yusung and Arman, you met at school, right? And that's
I
how
think all three met.
All three of us went to high school
really?
together.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
yeah. We like read your blog, and I think we sort of like really like connected with that as well because the three of us are friends as well, and we wanted to start this podcast. So yeah, like what made you really like go for it, and we also wanted to know why Delhi, and we were really, I don't know, that was interesting. Like I think you guys were also thinking about either starting in Bombay or Delhi. Yeah.
Arman, you want to take up this question?
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened, it was just so when these guys were here in India, they were visiting a lot of us. So like I'm from Delhi, so they were visiting me, us in Delhi. There's a lot of friends, connections we had in Delhi. So like really in the early stages of thinking of the idea and finding a place to start, there were a lot of connections from Woodstock. People who started Sleepy Owl, for example, are our seniors from Woodstock, and so discussions with them. Another company called Atmosphere Kombucha, where I think more of like they all suggested that Delhi is a good place to start because you have people to help you and the support structure in the beginning, because it's not easy to start a business in India, especially with foreigners involved. And so I think it was more of that, plus it was just an interesting market. We could have done started with a more experimental market like Bangalore. That's where often people start new things or go to Mumbai and Delhi, but it just made sense because we had the right connections, the right people, and so it was easier to start in the beginning. So that's where it came about, I think. But I mean, it's been great. Delhi got us great response with embassies and different expats. I think it was we got good attention here, so I think it was a good choice eventually. Earlier it was more of just like a comfort thing in the early stages.
Also, actually, Joe, do you remember when we just met here only, B6 area?
Yeah, we just randomly met after a long time, and Yusung just brought it up, and I was like, okay, I'll help you guys out. I never knew I'll join. I didn't plan on joining in the start, and then suddenly, he's like, help us, and started doing stuff together.
Yeah.
And then I think he asked me to join them, and I think after I tasted the product, I was like, oh shit, this is good. Like, let's do this.
Actually, Joe wasn't in the picture in the beginning. But I mean, even Arman, right? So when Sua and I settled down in Delhi a little bit, we were just looking into the market, and Saptajang just came across because of Joe. because Joe lived here and we didn't know any other place to go. And we just settled here. We just found the apartment with the help of Joe. And then it just kind of came naturally, you know, like we always hung out in Blue Tokai in B6 area, sort of like, you know, found all the suppliers, like call suppliers in the morning. Joe and I would like, you know, go to the gym together. And then like, after that, we just like call suppliers and, you know, we had the event going, right? So to prepare that, you know, we were just like constantly just getting in touch with people and just trying to start something. So that's originally how we came about in the beginning. And it was very abrupt and also very fortunate to meet Joe. And
Also, a lot of suppliers like since they all speak in Hindi. I mean, my Hindi is not that great, but it's manageable. So I had to speak to all those suppliers. So I guess it all came together well.
And we're glad that it started in Delhi because we enjoy it so much, a little too much actually. I think we're like weekly, almost daily customers to Gotti.
That's great.
And another thing is how you guys came up with the name Gotti.
Okay, so I think I'll have to answer this. I mean, a lot of people are not actually aware about Gati. So some people call it Goti, or like some other ways, right? But Gat is like a Korean traditional hat. And my passion lies in like connecting cultures together. So like I really enjoyed going to school in India. So with these guys in Utsav, right? The greatest thing about Ustag was that it was very multicultural, and we got to know about other cultures, and I really liked India in general, like, you know, Indian culture and people here. I think that made me come back as well. A lot of my friends actually, you know, they don't want to come back because you know, there are a lot of misconceptions and, you know, just difficulties as well living abroad. But I'm sort of more like a very adventurous sort of like an individual, I think. So I just wanted to take a path where not a lot of people would take, and just really challenge myself too, and got onto this path. And I think that's how I ended up. But anyways, going back to the God, right? So when we were thinking about how to bring Korean culture into India, like, you know, sphere, we were thinking about not something very like not too traditional. So we were thinking something has to be very it has to represent something, or like, you know, it has to be presentable. So I was thinking maybe if we just wear a God, like Korean traditional hat, I think it will just attract a lot of people in general, right? If we are selling something with like, you know, God on, people will be wondering like, oh, what is that? And,
Curiosity.
Very, very creates curiosity and very attractive. And actually, I don't know if you have watched the Netflix series called Kingdom.
Yes,
So
I did.
so my
did.
friend Suai and I were very addicted to that, right? So actually, it just came from there.
The
So you're
prince
like,
wears the
It's the
God.
Korean
the
god.
God. Yeah,
the
Yep,
prince
that's the
wears
God.
it.
Yeah.
right. So you're like, oh, that's it. You know, that will like just attract a lot of people, because we also saw a lot of articles like covering that people are trying to buy, like foreigners are trying to buy God like outside of the country and things like that, and it was kind of interesting. So that's how we just named God. And of course, you know, we have to represent tea, bubble tea. But tea in general, like, you know, in India, there's abundance of tea. Like there's great ingredients from Assam, and like where we also source our things directly. So we wanted to give that sort of like vibe as well. So got tea over there, like, you know, it just came together.
I'm just curious, were there other names that you considered maybe?
Oh, it's been Gotti for so long now.
Yeah.
I remember there was so much
remember.
brainstorming. There was some definitely other ideas. I forgot.
But it was like long time ago, because I think it was like 2019 April. when I didn't quit my job yet in Korea. So the funny thing is, like, I was always brainstorming with my colleague there. My colleague already knew that I was gonna quit my job, and the colleague was brainstorming with me, and it was just like really funny. But I actually don't recall any other names from now. Yeah, so I've forgotten any other names.
So the three of you studied in Woodstock. Yusung, you studied in NYU after, and you were a strategy manager at Fasto. Arman, you were a software engineer at VoiceIt, and then you're also a former CTO at Herringbone and Sui
in Mumbai. Yeah.
And Joe, you also run your own production company called Rock Paper Scissors, right?
Yeah.
So all very different from running a bubble tea store.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are the different things that you've learned from your past positions that have helped you in managing and creating this bubble tea store?
So I'll take this one first. I think so. Actually, you mentioned Pasto. Pasto is something I worked during the lockdown. When I went back to Korea after coming here in 2019, so when we came to Delhi, right, in the first place, that was 2019 December. But before that, I was working in Postco as an HR recruiting manager. I really learned a lot in Postco, like just strategizing and making structures, like systems, and like putting things together. For example, I have this sort of thing where I really care about alignments in like presentations and stuff. I always pick out like there's small even margins, I mean, I've gotten like a lot of practice of that, and like just strategizing and putting things into documents. And I think those really came well to sort of like, make pitch decks or, be presentable, make connections and things like that. And then actually strategy manager that I worked for Fasto, that was actually during the lockdown. So when lockdown happened in Delhi, like in April, that's the time when I actually went back to Korea. And I was trying to find a job where it could help me to understand about the startup culture and sort of like help Kati in the future more. So I was actually looking for that specific job. And Fasto is like a fulfillment logistics, company. So that actually really helped me to kind of understand how the logistics work, or like, pairing up with delivery partners and like, things like that. So I've gained like bits and pieces of like, like sort of like a puzzle where I would get a lot of like business and entrepreneur mindset. So I think those like, different experiences have come together, and I really like strategizing for Gotti as well, like making the products and strategizing like, for example, loyalty program and things like that. So yeah, that's it's actually helping a lot for strategizing things for Gotti.
Arman and Joe,
Arman, go ahead.
Sure. So I mean, there's lots. I think just over. So I started working for VoiceIt in 2015, and so working there, that was also a startup. So we had like maybe 4 other people working with me, another software engineer, our CEO, and a business development person. And so just the startup culture and building my technical skill, understanding, customer support, dealing with, caring about learning all those things, making sure the customer gets the best experience, and just the whole technical. I think that obviously I took forward to Gotti in terms of helping us. I just built our website, and then, just even backend trying to improve our the way the order management system works, to improve certain things so we can access data better and make things like the delivery stuff more efficient. And so that's where that skill went. But even working as a CTO in Hangman Sui, I think like trying to build work along with the team, and again just different things that I think help there's a lot to do as a startup. Even him going to see is a startup, a little bigger startup with 30 people, but just you have to always learn how to wear different hats. I'm not only just a software engineer. I'm also doing customer support, talking to some person, dealing with a problem. So a lot of problem solving skills I think I've learned from my previous two jobs that are very helpful, and applying that to Gotti, because we do have problems all the time, and it's always fun to think about that and thinking of better ways to solve them. And yeah, that's actually something you learn a lot as software engineers, improving your problem solving skills.
Yeah, I run a production house with a friend. So with all the cameras, with all the gear, you have to keep up with the latest gears. You have to know the latest cameras that you have to buy, keeping the inventory. So I think in that way, I have brought a lot with the operating side of Gotti, like the supplies and knowing and talking to the suppliers and getting what we need, and also the visual aspect. So even right now, I'm currently shooting all the Gotti videos. Yeah. So we're working on an ad right now also. Yeah. So, but I feel like it's been really cool that we all come from such different backgrounds, and like we all learn so much from each other. Like in the starting, sometimes I just feel so dumb in front of Arman, and I'm like, but I'm slowly like learning so much, and even from Yusung, like with all the Google Sheets and all that, he's helping me so much with documentation. So I think in that way, and I'm also helping them out with like the video side of stuff and all. So I think in that way, we all kind of like balance each other out. So I think that's been really fun. Yeah.
So sorry, Louis, you can go.
Yeah, just I'm really curious to know, like, since like guys did sacrifice some stuff to start Gotti, and it was like a passion of yours that you've been thinking about for so long. Is there any remark or comment that you've ever gotten from like a customer that really stuck with you and it made you realize, wow, this is why I started it. This is why I wanted to do this. Was there any remark or comment that anyone ever gave you?
Yeah.
Oh, and at the same time, we would like to know, is there any bad comment that that stuck with you as well?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I think a lot of people like encourage us on, they tell us it's the best product in Delhi and India so far, and that really encourages believe in what we do and gain confidence. I think what we have actually proved is that we have gained a lot of confidence over like 3 or 4 months that we've been here, right? And that is really, really important for the morale of the team. So we are not just gaining confidence ourselves as a founder, but that reaches to all of our staff, right? So if our product is good and what they're making is good for people and having good positive effects to people, all the staff feels the same, right? So my biggest aim is to build really a strong team, and I think that confidence is carrying us far, because it is very hectic in the store. Just every daily routines, and also just preparing a lot of drinks, right? It requires a lot of work. But I think because of the strong team, because of a lot of customers encouraging us and giving us good comments, that really helped us.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of one feedback, specific situation where like a customer's review just stuck with me a bit. That's more on the product side, where I think this was more in the early stages where we are still, trying to test the market. We're not doing crazy amount of orders, but we're getting decent amount of orders. We were still co-sharing the location with Bamboo Hut. And then customer from Indonesia, so somebody who's grown up with bubble tea, just like came by and she had like a caramel brown and one of the taro drinks, and then what she said was, this is like bringing back my memories from home. Like she's missing home because and so that kind of like gives so much validity. So we've created something authentic that they're actually like feeling nostalgia from our drinks versus the other bubble tea products here, which the whole reason for starting this was I couldn't find something that I was missing back in college days. And so with somebody who's grown up with bubble tea, it's not even somebody who just had it a few times, but for them to give that kind of feedback on our product really, made me think that we need to keep pushing forward and make this bigger.
I think it still gives me goosebumps when I think about that. We actually developed a lot of great personal relationships with customers too, and that's really amazing. Even for Joe, right? Joe knows hundreds of people around him, and everyone is very friendly and just comes over to talk about it, their experience about bubble tea, and it's just amazing interaction. We enjoy that, I don't think we could have gotten this far if we didn't enjoy that and if we weren't that passionate about this. So this is just wonderful, like a customer coming up to us, and then of course we are also trying to be friendly all the time, and get them try and get their experience to the highest level. But at the same time, they're very open, it's open to talk to us and share their experience. And that's just great. We just have great customers too.
I think the main philosophy behind Gotti was also behind giving the customer the best experience and having a personal relationship. Now, recently you collaborated with another cafe called Forest to bring roll cakes or Swiss rolls. And now you were planning to bring croffles. Now this one's for the customers. When is the fried chicken making a comeback?
Oh my God.
Isang, why don't you take this one?
Joe, you want to take this for the fried chicken?
You go first.
Oh my God, because we had a lot of arguments, I think, in initial stages, right? About chicken. So chicken is something that, I don't know, we are all very afraid of starting this, of course, initially, right? So we weren't sure if we should keep just the bubble teas. Will it sell? We don't know. Should we add this? Should we add chicken? Should we add another snack item? Should we add hundreds of other snack items? Because we weren't so sure where we were heading to, right? And then so initially what Joe, Mercy, Armand had worked on when I was not here yet was the chicken, the Korean fried chicken, right? But it's amazing. I mean, it tastes amazing. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people got hooked on. But what my suggestion was that, hey, I don't think we should do this, because if we do it now, we lose the identity. What if people like chicken more and we become chicken, fried chicken brand instead of bubble tea brand, right? So there was that also, but chicken just took a lot of time to prepare. At the same time, preparing the batches of bubbles and other drinks and things like that. So it was just interfering a lot with the operations part. So that is why we just decided that it was a big decision that time too, because all the fried chicken recipe was developed. They knew how to do it, and they were ready to do it, and it was selling well too. So it was really difficult to take it out of the menu, and we were like, hey, we should take it out. I think we said it, had a conversation over and over a few times, and then we finally decided to take it out. But yeah, Joe, what
yeah,
do you think?
I mean, so we had a lot of back and forth about that, but we did bring it back. I'm not sure if you guys were in Delhi during that time. So we did bring it back once, for a weekend. But we realized that it's really hard with the current manpower and all we have. But maybe when we grow, I mean, we still do want to bring it back in some way. So maybe when we have a bigger space or more manpower, we will bring it back in some way or the other. Yeah.
It's just we were trying to focus on our core product and make it efficient, because what we don't want is to serve a few people who are really missing the chicken, but then ruin the bubble tea experience for all of our other customers. So I think focus is important for our business here at these stages, but I think that's part of
I had quite a few customers calling my personal phone saying, when's the chicken coming back? I'm like, what? Who's this? It was really funny, yeah.
Also, sometimes when we do a poll where what should our next bubble tea flavor should be, and then someone always says chicken. Yeah. But I mean, it's
The
great, right?
same,
You're getting recognition.
yeah,
Yeah.
the same way the chicken didn't make the cut. Were there any flavors that you experimented with and decided not to add to your final menu?
Oh yeah, so many.
Oh yeah.
Quite a
Desi,
few.
Desi
There are so
chai,
many.
sunflower
Yeah.
sparkle, there are a bunch
Oh
of
yeah, yeah,
everything.
It's so many. I mean, just now also, I just came today. Actually, I came to the store to experiment on new coffee flavors.
Mhm.
And I think I have one ready. After
Oh.
finally trying so many times, but Arman and Joe haven't tried it
Yeah.
yet, so
Mm.
they'll have to give me a green light to
Yeah, I
go.
don't know if that question's
And
coming or not, but a lot of people also do ask for coffee, coffee
yeah,
flavor.
Mm.
So yeah, that's like priority right now. Yeah.
So what is the criteria for you guys to say, okay, let's put this flavor out? Like, what are the things that it has to pass? Like, what's the check mark verification?
I'll just tell you the example of today. So basically, when we do tests, right?
Mhm.
First person is hooked on, then I test on like other stuff, and then because these guys, because they have to compulsorily like kind of taste bubble tea every day, just to do quality
Quality
assurance,
control.
right?
Yeah.
So if everyone like if everything is hasn't gone bad, or like just tasting bubbles, if bubbles are not like good, then we just make a new batch and stuff like that. So they don't like drinking or eating additional stuff, but I just force them to try in the beginning. But then once these guys are like hooked on, then I'm like, okay, this can work, and then I take it to the next level and try on new customers, and so on. So it's just like you have to see the addiction happening. I think that's what it is. Once you see people are craving for more, then yeah,
Yeah.
I think this could work, and we just release that. But we're very selective on our flavors, as you know. We want to keep it like to maximum maybe like 10 or 12, to really focus on like what we are doing well with our flavors. So yeah.
So, Arman, you're a foodie. You're a foodie.
Sure.
You like to post pictures of food on Instagram as
Just
well.
stalking my Instagram. Yeah, it's been a while
We've
since I posted.
been stalking
It's research.
for research purposes only.
What is one snack or food that you would love to see in the Gotti menu?
Oh, I know this one. Yeah.
Do?
Yeah.
I can't think of it. What is in
No,
the
you always
Gotti menu?
say. Oh, okay.
In Gotti menu versus what I want, what I'm missing still.
What? Yeah.
Different. Well, because I don't think everything that I'm still missing or craving that I didn't get necessarily falls in the should be on Gotti's menu. Just because again we want to focus on our products and stuff, adding everything
Mhm.
out there. But
I think just imagine like what you would add anything like anything.
yeah, so I mean I'm like let's say like I really miss good quality Vietnamese food from my experience in the States. So like a good banh mi would really make me happy as a food. So that's something where I don't get another good option. So that was my actually thought when I was back here. I'm like, I need either a banh mi shop or we need bubble tea. And so bubble tea turned up happening. That was those I think. Yeah, I wouldn't see it adding to Gotti's menu because it just doesn't quite fall here at the moment. But it's something that I think could work well in India that there's not good options for too. So anybody else wants to start a banh mi shop, I'll come visit and eat it.
So, kind of curious to know, like in your blog, you had mentioned that your initial stages of starting the store were kind of halted because of the COVID first wave, and now we're hit with the second wave again. And are there any similar problems or different problems that you face in both the waves of the COVID lockdown? Could you give us a little information?
Yeah, and also like what helped in keeping the business going, I guess, like throughout the lockdown.
Going back to confidence is the
Yeah.
strongest thing, because just right before the lockdown, I think we had around almost 200 people in a day at the store. And actually, it was very scary.
Yeah, you're talking about the recent COVID, current lockdown. Yeah.
This lockdown. But I mean, the lockdown before that, I mean, we couldn't really do anything.
We opened towards the end, right, Arman, if I'm correct?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
November.
really lockdown-ish. Yeah, it was kind of open then. It wasn't lockdown. It was still COVID season, but not, it was past lockdown. But
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of worked out a little bit, you see, because we had our initial events in February, and then at LBB, at JMC College, we did some market research. We're like, okay, this product works. And then we were, initially planning to go all out at that point, have a cafe, start renting a place. And then lockdown hit just before we did that. So if we had done that, we might not even be here, because you would have to be paying rent for a whole year without being able to run a business. So the timing kind of worked out for us. All that time, we instead focused on developing the current packaging, the branding, making sure all of that was done versus having a cafe. So for those 7-8 months, that the first lockdown actually was useful for building the company versus just starting with a cafe that you could have got stuck on.
I think it saved us from rushing our product and maybe failing.
Yeah.
We don't know. Yeah. So I think we would take it in a good way. Yeah. And the second
Would you call
lockdown, I
it
think
a-
we were just prepared. Yeah, for it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you call it a blessing in disguise?
yeah, I would say so.
I think it just worked out well
Yeah.
because the packaging also. We just had the time to work on it. Even this lockdown, we weren't really just sitting down, but we really organized the company as a structure and worked on a lot of things to go forward. So we are also developing another product now that can be shipped across the country. So hopefully a lot of people are excited about that too. Sort of
on your
teaser for
blog,
it.
you have mentioned.
It's on our blog already.
It does.
Yeah,
it's called
Yeah.
Got It
But
Home.
then sadly, not a lot of people visit our blog yet. So yeah.
So if you want to find out
Yes.
about our product, read our blog.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Go
can
to
you
Gothi's
give
blog.
our listeners also, can you give them special insight since they're listening to our podcast? So can you give them a small insight or small sneak peek?
Yeah. What is Got It Home, and how close are we to seeing it? Where is it right now?
Yeah.
I think we are halfway there, right? We're constantly ordering our supplies. I think you would get the most authentic bubble tea soon, because we are also importing some things. In addition to that, just all the equipments that we think are needed, we design it, and we are all behind. And we're actually really doing a lot of thinking behind how for example, of course there are a lot of people who are craving for boba, and they want to just have it at home. Of course we are also targeting them, but at the same time we want to give the best experience to people, especially who are trying for the first time too. So we are trying to design it in such a way it's easy, right? And so we are working with a UX designer. He's also one of our from our school, from Woodstock. So we're just constantly just getting a lot of great talents to to our staff to work with us.
Yeah, well, on your blog, you've mentioned a lot of this person from our school has helped me from this person helped me for sourcing the tea. So can you guys emphasize on the importance of networking and how your network has helped you get Got Tea where it is?
I think it was all about networking.
Yeah, I mean, without the network, we wouldn't be able to, get that part so soon. I think it's all, it's just, we're lucky to have these great connections, and it really helps us, keep using them, building on it, and finding new solutions for problems, and I think just using this network and connections, we're able to come out much stronger and solve a lot of our problems. And it's always, I mean, great to work with somebody who you have like a little bit past relationship with. You can get stuff done faster, because there's less communication and building that relationship, but just utilizing those relationships.
Yeah, I would say that's the best thing to take away from this is like, even if you fail all your tests in school or college, just make the connections,
Make
be
friends.
best friends with everyone, and yeah, you'll be good in life. Yeah,
Wise words to live by.
yeah,
Be friends with everybody.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, also, I just want to add, like, I don't think a lot of people realize, but we all have some, like, second jobs as well, on the side, because initially when lockdown happened, it was very difficult for us to sustain, right? So for Gotti to sustain, we had to take our, like, second jobs, other jobs, and especially for me being here, I'm here because of other job, because that through that job I was able to get visa, other employment visa, and be here. And things are bright because we are all going to try and be full time, like, by August. So I think we will get much more done, and yeah, it's very exciting now, like, more than ever.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. And we're thinking for now it's just Delhi and you're trying to do the delivery got at home too, but will you or are you considering maybe expanding it further, like outside Delhi? And if so, what which places do you guys have in mind so far?
Aizol.
Aizal? Yes.
So
Yeah, so you can go tell them about our plans.
Yeah, we actually have just, like, made a roadmap during the lockdown, because I think the best part about us is that we are very, like, flexible in, like, pivoting and making adjustments to our plans. We're not always fixed with, like, one plan, right? And we are always open for new opportunity as well. And definitely we are also eyeing on Northeast region, because I think a lot of people are from there would like our product as well. But definitely hitting, like, one of the biggest cities, because our major goal is to really introduce proper bubble tea culture throughout India. So we'll start with big cities. I think there are a lot of, like, people who are wanting bubble teas in Gurgaon, which is nearby
Yes.
us, right? But the reason why we are not delivering there right now is because we want to give them best experience, and bubble teas are always best when they're consumed fresh. So that is our, like, challenge to tackle. But I think improving the quality of bubbles, and so we are working in various ways to improve that, and also just expansion. Yeah, so going to Gurgaon, and then to bigger cities like maybe Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai, and so on. And definitely keeping an eye on Northeast. Yeah. Haven't decided, like, which location particularly, but we want to explore. I also want to, like, kind of travel and see,
Yeah.
Definitely we will visit Aizol as well. Yeah. We have good friends there too. So I think he was also on the series before, right?
Yes,
So,
he was in
Yes.
the previous episode, right?
right. So we were in a basketball team together. Haven't gotten in touch yet, but planning on doing so.
So right now, as a bubble tea brand or a bubble tea business, you're still young. You're 2 years into business, right? Or have you crossed 2 years? So what is the long-term vision for Gotti as a brand? Like, what do you want to bring? Like, what's the philosophy behind, the long-term philosophy behind Gotti? Like, what do you want to bring as a brand?
I think the vision doesn't change. I think it's about getting everyone hooked on or addicted to bubble
And
tea.
addiction to bubble.
Yeah.
Create addiction to bubble tea. That's why if I see our staff getting addicted to what I make, it's just like makes me happy too. And just in general, like, when people are like genuinely happy with food and the culture that we are building, it comes from there too.
Part of the
So-
vision is also to bridge the two cultures, right, between Korea and India. And
Yeah.
you Sang's
Right.
talked about this also in the past, where we can eventually see ourselves having like a store in Korea too, or
Exactly.
program where people can go from India to Korea and go back and forth, like our
Right.
employees for
Right.
training. Things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
it's also
My passion really lies in that because, I really want to break the stereotype and misconception about India being dangerous and, just a very bad place to live in. It's not. There are wonderful people here. I mean, I have a lot of friends here too. But starting small, but I mean, K-Wave is also like, picking up a lot, right?
Yes, it's going
Just-
global. It's
The
impacting.
K-pops, the
Yeah.
BTSs.
Let's hope
Yeah.
let's hope that Gotti gets big and then tie up with BTS, BTS combo or like
Yeah.
Gotti BTS combo. There we go.
Yeah.
It'll be better than the McDonald's one, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
The bubble teas will be in the shape of each member's head.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
special.
That's how big the
logistics will
project.
be-
Yeah.
Well, should we wrap up then?
Sure.
Is
Yeah,
there any
or-
message
yeah.
from your side, like from the Gotti founders team? Like, is there anything you want to say, or like a message you have for the listeners?
Maybe we can each say a line or so.
That's fine.
I mean, like, it's been really difficult, right? These past few months. Like, I was also, like, my parents, for example, like very personal, but like they're very worried. So like they're constantly asking me to come back and all that. But I have great friends taking care of me. So like we're staying like very strong together with our staff and with our members, Gotti team, staying very strong together. So I also want like everyone else to stay strong during difficult times. And in any way we can help, we are always there to help. And like just anything, right? Like personally, or like if our drinks can make people happy, or a little bit healthier, or like energetic, that just makes us feel great. So we would love to see more people in our store soon, connect with more people. Like we miss a lot of like our customers who are coming and just like dropping by almost every day. We miss them every day. So hopefully this gets over quickly.
Also, as a brand, I think you've really established yourselves, not just like a simple like a bubble tea brand, but you guys have made so many connections, and you've really shown that it was the connections that you've made previously that has helped you establish the company as well. So and of course, we're very excited for the future plans ahead. And as most of our listeners are also from Aizawl or Mizoram, let's hope that it will be the upcoming place for Gotti. But yes, thank you so much for joining our podcast today. And everyone, do check out their blogs. They have really sweet stories, and just go stalk them if you want.
None of them are private, by the way.
Yes.
Okay. Guys, also lastly, please let us know if we can do a pop-up there in Aizawl.
Yes.
We'll try to go at some point.
We'll try to make Aizawl Gotti happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
We also want to get out and
Yeah.
travel around too. So
Yes. So thank you, and hopefully we'll be doing more collaborations together. And yes, I think Louis is better at closing
Yeah.
this off. I cannot.
Thank you. So thank you, Yusung, Arman, and Joe. Like, I hope we all our listeners are able to get something out of this. And if and also to our listeners staying in Delhi, please order Gotti. You can order home delivery or pickup. Please go.
Yeah.
And so just giving you guys a shout out. And yeah, so thank you for joining us. And be sure to listen to our podcast on YouTube and Spotify, and check out our blog as well, and Gotti's blog. So thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks for having
guys.
us, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
us.
guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Guys.